Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 500.
When we forgot about it completely until about 10 minutes ago.
I didn't forget about it.
I did.
I thought about getting a milkshake today in order to celebrate, but I did not. I got cheese
That
curds
sounds.
instead.
Oh, yeah. So you went by that place,
Freddy's.
Freddy's.
I did.
Haven't been there since the last time you and I went there.
I did a drive-through. That was it when Amy was visiting? Was that
I
the
think
last?
so.
Yeah, it's been a while. I got a veggie burger and cheese curds. It was delicious. Anyway, I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is September the 11th, 2020. I've been seeing all sorts of 9/11 related stories on the news.
It's been 19 years.
Yeah.
Next year will be 20. That,
Where were you?
where was I? I was at college. I went to my first history class, went back to my apartment because it was only like, I don't know, 500 yards from that building, and went to make breakfast. And my roommates, I had five roommates. So there were six of us in an apartment and two bedrooms.
Hmm.
And
The things you can tolerate when you're young.
I know, and we had like loft beds because that's what all the apartments. They were on campus apartments. And Jill's mom, who was from Jill was from Owings Mills, Maryland, had called her and told her to turn on the TV, and I watched the second plane hit,
Hmm.
and then went to class, told my professor what was going on. It was the same professor. I had two classes back to back with the same professor with like a 30-minute break in between,
Hmm.
maybe an hour break in between. And he told us to go home and watch the news because that was history in the making.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, that's
when we went home, and then we were put under like so I went to school in York, Pennsylvania, and there was a plane still missing over Pennsylvania at that time. And York, Pennsylvania is very close to 3 Mile Island, which is a nuclear reactor in
hmm
Pennsylvania. And so that was very much a concern at the time that the plane was going to be diverted to hit the nuclear reactor. So they dismissed classes for the remainder of the day and the next day, I believe, as well. There were a lot of alumni from my school who were in the Twin Towers.
mm,
Because, I mean, York, Pennsylvania is only like, I don't know, it's about a little bit farther than Philly. So maybe 3 hours to New York City, maybe four.
yeah.
So not that far. Where were you? What was happening with you?
Um, 30, 35, 38, 39. I was, I worked at the casinos already, and I worked an office job because I was only, I wasn't 21 yet, or maybe I had just turned 21. Yeah, 2001. So I had just turned 21. But I was working an office job, and at the casino, and when you walk into the casino, like employee entrance, you go right past the employee dining room, which was a big like cafeteria, and they had TVs in the center up on pedestals. Usually it was like Sports Center or the news or whatever. And I walked in and walked through the cafeteria to get to my office, and people were watching the TV, but there wasn't, it was still pretty early, so there weren't a lot of people in there yet.
Yeah.
And when I went up to my office, and my boss, Norma, at the time, um, our VP, who was next door, had a TV in his office, and everybody was in there. And I was like, "What's going on?" So I went in there, and like a minute after I went in there, that's when the second plane hit.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, very shortly after that, everybody that wasn't like working on the casino floor went home. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, It's before Kobe was born, before I even met his dad.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it's been 19 years.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's not hard to believe because,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you feel this way, but I feel like I was a much different person in my
Oh
early
yeah.
20s than, I was still in college. I was a junior in college. Um, so yeah. Anyway,
That's usually we sort of touched on that a couple weeks ago. I don't know that it was on the podcast. I think it was just you and I talking, but um, we were talking about people who had been with their significant other since high school or college, and
it's a
how
long time.
it just seems like it would have to be an exceptional group of people because you grow so much
Yeah, you change.
between the time you graduate high school and your 30s. Like you go through so many different iterations of yourself. But
Yeah,
anyhow, this is usually a crafting podcast.
sometimes. I mean, it is our 500th.
It
To bring that
is.
back around. It's
We have
so,
been doing this for over 10 years.
yeah, it's just when we got started, I would not have, because we got started in our 20s. Like,
Yes, we did.
speaking of
Barely.
20s and how things have changed, like, we
Yeah,
started this podcast in our 20s and we're almost 40 now. Well, some of us are 40.
I am 40. I'm not going to be age shamed. So,
um, so things have changed. Leslie's son went from like I don't know. How old was he when we started the podcast? It's been 10 years. So, what,
so
7-year-old?
5. Oh, no, yeah, you're right. He's 17, not 15. I don't know why I just did that. Yeah, he was 7.
Yeah.
Uh,
And now
and
he's a senior in high school.
and Neelix, we didn't have Neelix yet, and he's 9 now. He's Michael's dog. You didn't have Pearl yet.
No, she's 5
I've
now.
moved 1,000 miles away and back.
Yeah. If you would have told me that we would have been doing this separate
Hmm.
for both 10 years, I think we did 10 years separate and then our 500 separate, I would have been like, no way. But that's 2020.
Yeah,
Um, so, and hey, I was exposed to COVID this week.
awesome. I keep seeing stories about teachers dying of COVID, and I'm like, nope, not gonna read that. Nope.
Yeah, I made the mistake of reading that earlier. There's been 2 teachers in Mississippi that have passed away from COVID complications. Not anywhere near, like not in our district. And when I say exposed, it's very like my risk is very minimal. I keep score for volleyball, and actually this has happened twice now, where the opposing team has had a member who has tested positive a few days after we've played them.
Mm.
So that happened 2 weeks ago, and then this week. Um, so sports are a go in Mississippi at all
Oh
grade
yeah.
levels, and the governor did have a rule in place where only 2 people could come per athlete, but then he did away with that this week. He loosened that restriction. So I heard the
Just
high school football game had quite a lot of people there. So I will not be going. Leslie and I usually go to some high school football games. We usually go to the one at least where like Kobe's school is playing my school.
hmm
But we will not be going this, or at least I will not be going. You're welcome to
yeah,
go on your own.
that's not gonna happen because I'm such a social butterfly.
Anyway, would you like to go first with knitting, or would you like me to go
Yeah,
first?
I'll go because I really don't have anything to show you.
Oh, good.
I have just cast on for Ursa. This is by Jacqueline Cieslak. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm using a very similar color. This is
Oh,
Hicks Billow. I got this
yeah.
a while back because I had planned on using it for something else.
If you had waited 5 or 4 days, you could use it for Halloween craft all the things.
It's just going to keep me up at night. Um,
It is a very Halloween color, though.
it is.
You could wear it with a black tunic tank for Halloween with Halloween socks.
I could.
And then I would sing "This is Halloween" for you on Zoom.
That's amazing. I'm going to pass. Um, but yeah, so I just cast on. I'm using a size 11 needle. Uh, that is the entirety of my knitting that I have that's work in progress.
Did you crochet anything this week?
Yes, but they're finished objects.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to
Drag it out so that you could do something.
well, I don't have anything to do. I'm just going round and round. I have 2
Oh,
socks on the
okay.
needles, and that is it. So,
They're so exciting.
I know. One has a pattern though. It's not this one. This one has a self-striping pattern. So after we recorded last Friday, and I said Pearl was doing better, and apparently I'm a liar who lies.
Oh,
Because that Friday night, she was not doing well at all. She was throwing up blood, and it was not a good situation. And we ended up going to the first vet that I could find that was open. Your vet didn't like my vet didn't open at all. Like she said on the website that she opens at 7:30, but she
mhm,
never opened. We made it through the night, um, mainly because I cut off her water because
right.
she was just drinking water and throwing it back up
Yeah.
at that point, which led to other issues, but at least she wasn't throwing up anymore. Anyway, so the Horn Lake Animal Hospital has a 24-hour
Yeah.
ER, but we were able to time it that I got there right as they opened, so I didn't have to pay the after hours fee.
Mhm.
Um, and I really like what they did. They had you wait in your car and you were masked, and then when they had a room open, they'd have you come in with your animal. So because I was a walk in, like
Mhm. It wasn't a
um,
scheduled
it
appointment. Yeah.
wasn't a scheduled appointment, and they're one of the few vets offices that take walk-ins in this area. There aren't a lot that do that. My vet charges like a $30 walk-in fee
Oh
or something.
wow.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people who do walk-ins apparently, vet-wise. It's very unusual. Um, so we waited in the car for like an hour and her gums started getting white, and so I kind of freaked out a little bit because that's like a really bad sign with dogs. But I was knitting. I'm bringing this back to knitting. So this was like
Mhm.
my stress knitting sock. So I actually started this sock when I was waiting to get COVID tested back in July.
Oh.
And I only, because it went fairly fast, I only got like the toe done. And so I got the rest of this done in between Googling, is my pet dying symptoms
Yep. That sounds like Laura.
in the parking lot of the vet's office. And after an hour, like, I called them and I was like, I really, because she was wheezing a little bit too. And I was like, she's really not doing well. So they took her in and I stayed in the car and they got her, they did all the things, the prep work that they needed to do, like took fecal sample, took blood sample, went ahead and called me and asked, gave me the quote and said, is this okay if we do all this stuff?
Mhm.
So they did all that. So she had x-rays and she had blood work done and she had like a sonogram done and this is all to explain how much it was because it was quite an expensive visit, um like a mortgage payment
Mhm.
expensive visit. But whatever, it's fine. She's fine. At the end of the day, she had no blockages. They think what it was she had gotten 3 vaccines the week before, like her rabies shot, kennel cough, and then something else. I can't remember what. And they think it was an adverse reaction to that, plus the stress of me going back to work. So basically, my dog's a diva.
It
And
just, I mean, so did it magically stop after that?
No, 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 no. She had to get an IV of fluids because she was dehydrated,
Uh-huh.
and then she had to get a shot of, anti-nausea meds, and
Yeah.
then we had to do 3 days of anti-diarrhea, which is in, like, a, syringe that you stick in her mouth
Yeah.
and shoot in. I'm gonna let you picture how well that went.
I can only imagine.
At one point, it went into her ear. Like, cause it was me, I had to, like, lock her in the bedroom because the first time I tried it, she took off running. She's feeling better at that point, at least good enough to run from me, cause she had
Yeah.
had, her, like, IV fluid thing. Um, but the vet was really, really nice, and she was actually going on, like, her emergency rotation the next day. Of course, all this happened on a holiday weekend too. So she said, like, if she wasn't feeling well or if she threw up at all, like, to bring her back and she wouldn't charge me. So I think I found a new vet. She's
Yeah.
really, really nice. And the vet techs, like, were really good with her. And Pearl didn't try to, like, nip at them at all or get grumpy with them. Um, so anyway, I got this much sock knit while I was at the vet's office, and then also, which wasn't a lot because I was so stressed out, but
Yeah.
also then I had to go pick up chicken for Pearl because she had a special
That's
diet of chicken and rice. For like that ended like 2 days ago. Um, and let me tell you, a vegetarian making chicken
yeah.
is a love letter to my pets because I don't know how to like do anything with chicken. And, like, the chicken breast that I got from Kroger, I was waiting for a grocery pickup because I ordered it, like, had blood on it, and that, like, really freaked me out. Did not care for that at all. Uh, and the smell of boiled chicken is one of joy
Yeah.
and wonder.
Oh,
Um,
boiled chicken's not too bad. At least you didn't have to do something with like, liver or
no,
anything like that. There's a
I would've
line, and
I
liver
would
is past that line.
Pearl and I would have gone, and she would have gotten dropped at Oma's house if that would have been the case. Yeah, that would have been even more stressful for her. So now she's fine. She's like running around back there. She just came to see who I was talking to.
She's
She's
feeling better.
bossing me around like normal. But anyway, the sock is just a toe up sock. I think I'm gonna do a Wendy knits heel, but I haven't decided yet. It is using some yarn, some Targi Sport from Knit Spin Farm's Little Noon Holiday Club. This was her Tolkien colorway. Um, and that's what I was thinking about, like how awesome Joanna and Bill are when I was knitting on this, and how much I love their farm and their animals. And so
They're good people.
they are. It was a good sock for a rough patch. So this is the COVID dying dog grocery pickup sock.
I mean, not dying dog, but
No.
yeah, ill dog,
Ill dog.
stressed dog.
Um yeah, so she's fine now. All her meds are over and we're back to as normal as any normal is in this house, which is not very normal at all. Yeah, and it's being knit on size 1 needles. It's being knit on some Addy, Rocket Squared, which is one of my favorite needles. So, sock 1 underway, and it's living in a Whimsy Stitches bag. Oh, guess what I have Rick making for me?
I can only imagine.
So, he put up, like, fall, like, you know how he does the patchwork? Like, this is the patchwork on it?
Hmm.
So, he does these ones for Pratt every year, and he did some fall ones. And I asked him if he would make me a Halloween patchwork one. So he's gonna make me a Halloween patchwork one. And it's gonna be amazing.
I have no doubt.
Unless his face is like, you do not need another Halloween bag.
Well, it's not that. It's just it's funny because I feel like if you are a maker and you become Laura's friend, eventually you will make custom something at Laura's request.
That's very true. That's how you know you're a real friend. Oh, so ridiculous. That is very true, though. And then the other sock that I have on the needles. See how I'm drawing out my portion of the podcast so that we have content?
You're doing an amazing job.
Is socks on the plane. Week 865 of these. No, I think I started these in May. This is the second one. So I did get like I think I done like 3 twists of the cable when last we spoke. So I made some decent progress on this. And the other one is over here.
And that one's been done since like June, right?
Yep. Yep. I don't like cabling.
Yeah.
I used to. I don't know what the deal is. It's just I feel like it slows me down, but also my brain space right now is like, let's do the least amount of work possible.
I don't know. You just finished an intricate lace baby blanket. I mean,
Hmm. Um, yeah, that's true. I had that out in the other room to weave in the ends. So, yeah, that got a little bit of love, and that's being magic looped on size 0 needles. So hopefully it'll get done this month. If I could get 2 pairs of socks done for me this month, that would be superb. I wore my first like pair of Halloween socks for the season yesterday, and I mended a pair that had holes that had never had the ends woven in on them. Didn't have the holes. But I just wore them with the ends out because I had forgotten about them. They were like
so
after
you mended them or you wove in the ends?
I wove in the ends
Oh,
so that I could wear them again. They were the Witches socks by Desert Vista Dye Works. Hey, they made the Witches into a graphic novel, and they're making a new movie. Do you
hmm.
remember the old movie with Angela
That's
Hudson?
yeah. It had the little mouse, the guy, little kid that turned into a
Yes,
mouse.
yes. Today is actually Roald Dahl's like birthday. I think it's like Roald Dahl Read Aloud Day. Um, But yeah, so there's a witches graphic novel. I'm very excited. I just added it to my Amazon wish list. I just found out about it yesterday.
That's cool.
So yeah, I thought that was super. I'm excited for the new movie too. There's a new Dune movie coming out too,
You know,
apparently.
I tried to listen to that audio book. Apparently, there's like 30 books in the series
Oh
or
yeah,
something
there's a
insane.
ton.
Um,
That's
but
like the finest 1950s sci-fi.
I tried to listen to it maybe a couple months ago, and there's so like so you know how sometimes you read a book and like the first several chapters is just an info dump, like it's not
Yeah.
world building, it's just like you need to know that this group hates this group and this group lives in this region, and like there's so much of that that I couldn't
Hmm.
follow. I just gave up.
I always
uh,
get Dune and Tremors confused in my brain. They are very different movies.
Trimmers is the Kevin Bacon one, right? Or it's
But they're
like
both
giant worms in the desert or something.
yes, and they eat people.
Yeah.
Um, but they both have like similar. I guess Star Wars does too, where it's that desert landscape at the beginning.
I didn't realize there was a Dune movie.
Oh yes, it was made in like 1967,
Oh wow.
and they're remaking it. There's a Dune 2020 movie.
I knew that, like, I know Dune's got a lot of acclaim as like a really great sci-fi series, and it may be great. It's just the way that that I can't handle so much info dump happening at once.
Frank
It's just too
Herbert, I
much.
think, is the author.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I could never get into Dune. I could never get into Tremors either.
I mean,
Although
it's a good like don't take yourself too seriously movie.
I also get Tremors confused with Beetlejuice because Beetlejuice has the worms as well.
Oh, I love
I
Beetlejuice.
love Beetlejuice. No, no, no. I love Beetlejuice, but they both have those man-eating worm things.
Yeah,
Now
that's
we've said
although the
Beetlejuice several
Beetlejuice ones
times.
are black and white, so they're
Yes.
very distinctive.
We
Um,
should rewatch that movie sometime. That's a good Halloween movie. I'm curious
I
to see what other people's favorite non-horror Halloween movies are.
that would be a good thing. Yeah, maybe we could like do a prize drawing or something.
Yeah, that could be like a lead up to our Halloween Craft All the Things, which is coming up on the 15th.
Yeah, we'll have to do it on the website though, because I don't want people to have to go to Ravelry if it gives them.
We can do it on Instagram. We have the Knit Girls Instagram, and it's open. It's not a closed. It's not like private like mine is.
Yeah, but what about people like me who don't do social media?
We can do it on the website. That's fine.
Let's talk about it offline.
Yeah, we can do that raffle copter thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like we used to do back in the day, like 10 years
Mhm.
ago.
Kobe and I rewatched. Well, Kobe watched it for the first time, Little Shop of Horrors, and I forgot
Mm.
so much about that movie.
Me,
First,
C4?
totally forgot it was a musical. It was very much a musical.
Oh, it's very much a musical.
And I forgot like, I guess, you know how you watch a movie when you're a kid and then you watch it as an adult and you realize all the stuff you missed that just
Yeah.
went like right over your head. And the whole like Steve Martin, I want to be a dentist, like masochist, not masochist, sadist, like tendencies. Like I completely missed that when I was a kid.
Did you get that there were you know how like Hercules have the muses that
Yeah.
narrate through song? Did you catch
Mhm.
that in Little Shop of Horrors? Because that also
Yeah.
has that. Isn't that cool?
There's one of them is she oh God, Tisha Lowry, maybe? I can't remember. One of them was in several movies and stuff later. And I want to say it was Tisha, but I could be, or Tisha Campbell, maybe. Um, anyhow, yeah, but I had forgotten so much about that movie. And
I
it
feel
was fun
like
to rewatch it with Kobe.
it is a fun one. I feel like Jim Henson made Seymour too. Or not Audrey too.
Audrey,
Is the name
too,
of the
yeah.
plant. Yeah.
Yeah. And it did actually surprise Kobe because I was like, all of this was before computers were involved in like
Hmm.
special effects. Like,
Well, it was a musical on like Broadway before they made it into a movie. I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
That's
Sorry,
a
I
good
ran out of
one.
stitch markers.
I had forgotten about that. Do you have any finished objects?
I do. Thank you for asking. I mean, that is what this show is about. So I
I mean,
finished
kind of.
the purple crochet squares. They're my very fancy IKEA plastic bag. So these were the, like, I think it was lilac or plum. I don't remember which
Plum.
color.
It was plum.
Yeah. So I think this is color number 12 out of 17.
I liked
So
it when you did your little ring of all the different colors.
yeah, I was looking for it to bring it up here, and it wasn't where I expected it to be. So I need to go through all my different little knitting bags and figure out where I put it, because I need to add a couple and take a couple away. So yeah, I finished a skein's worth, which is about 25 of these. That yarn is Loops and Threads. Amazing, I think, or incredible.
I think it's incredible, is what you've said before, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
also
a
a
hundred
liar who
percent
doesn't listen
acrylic
to you.
that I got from Michaels. I can't remember where it is. Um, and then I finished a thing. So I really got going on this this week. This is the Shadow and Lines.
Yay! You've got
And
some threads off of it.
yeah, I've woven them in. I just need to snip them. So I'll do that. But when I hung
So
it out
pretty.
to dry, there are no fewer than 5 things wrong with this. And I think I knew about 2 of them before.
Oh.
And I mean, I don't care. I'm not gonna like rip
Well,
it
when it's
back.
bunched up around you, no one will know. Are you keep? I'm guessing you're keeping it.
No, I probably will give it away. Um, I don't typically wear a lot of shawls, but just in the interest of disclosure, so here there's a purple stripe in the middle here.
Oh, yeah, it's more.
Yeah, this is where I dropped a stitch and didn't notice until like, I don't know, 20 rows
Yeah.
later. So I just threaded, a piece of like 12-inch long yarn through the loop and caught it up
Yeah.
and then wove the ends in, which if it wasn't so fine, you would never even see it, but the yarn is super fine. Um, also, let me see what else. There are several sections where I dropped like a brioche leg and didn't put it
Oh,
behind the stitches.
yeah, I've done that so many times.
Um, and then on the other side, I screwed up the striping twice. Um, well, here's in the brioche, the two-color brioche. Something happened right here where the stitches are stretched out. Like, I think maybe I had dropped a stitch and tried to fix it.
I can't tell
Uh,
it all.
let's see.
You're just making that up.
I'm not,
Oh, I do see it there.
yeah.
It looks like you double wrapped it.
I don't know what happened,
Like it's an
but
elongated leg.
well, there's several of them right beside each other, so I don't know. I don't know what happened, but
Maybe you short rode, like you picked it up and then had to put it down and then picked it
it,
back up, and that just
maybe
like rewrapped those stitches.
it could be. And then here, it's supposed to be um, four rows of each color, but I did just two rows of purple
Oh, yeah.
there. And then up here at the top, it's supposed to be 6 rows of purple, 1 row or 2 rows of red. And then at the top, I just did 4 rows of purple and 2 rows of red. Again, I didn't notice most of this until after the shawl was done. So, I
It's
mean,
super pretty though. And like once it's scrunched up around someone's
yeah,
neck, no one will ever know.
I don't care that it's slightly different. I mean, it's going to hold up. It's fine. And this one had a rolled stockinette edge instead of an I-cord. Actually, didn't realize it had edging until I was getting ready to bind off. And I
Oh,
was like, crap, because it's like almost 700 stitches. But it has this rolled stockinette edge. So you just pick
interesting.
up and then you just knit the stockinette edge and bind off. It's like 6 rows or something. And it naturally,
Yeah,
so uh,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, it was much easier than doing an I-cord edging, and I liked it just fine. But yeah, so this is Shadow Lines by Suzanne Sommer. It is out of Triskelion Olwen Fine Merino that Amy got me at that fiber thing.
Edinburgh. Fiber in the Burrow. No, Edinburgh Yarn Fest, right?
Yes, that one.
Fiber in the Burrow is in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That is
Yeah,
not the same thing.
it is definitely slightly different than Edinburgh.
I
Hmm.
mean, yes. Different spellings and everything.
So I'm gonna trim the ends off of this. But yeah, so that's what
It's
I
gorgeous. And you've been
got
working on it
finished.
since February, so
I have.
do you feel
Yep.
accomplished?
It is an old. I'm actually surprised I got so much done because um, I the last time I showed it, which was last week, I think I had just finished this two-color brioche section.
Yeah.
So all of the striping section and the solid brioche section I did this week. Uh,
Wow, you did get a ton done this week.
yeah, so I'm pretty happy with my progress.
Are you gonna cast so Ursa is your new project. Are you gonna cast on another shawl or are you just gonna stick with one right now and your
I don't
crochet?
know. I want to go back to the sock tubes because I've got about half a dozen of them that still need heels,
Just half a dozen.
and there's a heel I want to try. That's a it's a boxed heel, so it's like a short row heel, um, but it says it gives you more like depth, and it's sort of like a it looks kind of like a the way the short rows are done. Looks like there's kind of a box in the center of the
Hmm.
heel. So it's a different one that I haven't tried before, so I want to try that. So I might have a pair of socks next week. We'll see. No promises.
I spent like 2 hours on a Zoom cutting apart sock tubes
That's a
to
good
like.
Zoom project.
Yeah, it was really, really, and it made me feel accomplished. Like I cut some of them, like a lot of these were like the first ones that I cranked on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so they still have like drop stitches in them,
Yeah.
but they were all interconnected. And so those I just cut apart, but the newer ones towards the end of that, I actually like cut those in half. And
Mm-hmm.
then the new ones were already like cut in half and separated into two things. So now I have like 40 sock tubes.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, I like cranking,
Yeah,
but I don't like knitting. So I actually cranked a bunch of sock tubes for Mason B this week.
it's funny. This is going to be episode 500. Quote, I don't like knitting.
I mean, I do like knitting. It's just, I don't know what's happening lately. I haven't been doing much crafting this week at all, it feels like. I mean, like I had a day off and everything this week because actually I had 2 days off in the past week because I took a day for Pearl.
Well,
And
that wasn't really a day off, though.
And then I had Memorial Day, but I did have Friday night where I just stayed up all night and stared at her to make sure she was breathing and Googled
Uh,
things on the internet after Leslie told me not to.
I mean, you never listen to me, so I didn't really expect anything different. Plus, I would do the same thing if my dog was acting weird, so
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um, all right. So I have a finished object as well.
no way.
You haven't even seen it. It's brand new. So this
Oh,
is
that's not a hand spun.
yeah, I was trying to think of something that I had the brain capacity to knit on this week. So I knit this Memorial Day actually as I watched
Labor
Tour de
Day.
France or Labor Day. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's the thing that we're doing in the fall. Ah, um anyway, so as I watched the Tour de France, I knit on this because it's out of hand spun. It's out of some old hand spun that I spun from Knit Spin. No, I'm a liar. From Hip
Hip
String.
string.
Yeah, when they first did the unicorn colorways. And this is like now they have the unicorn sampler boxes back, and I was very, very tempted the other day, but I did not. But yeah, this is called Declan's hat, and it's actually a little bit smaller than what the pattern calls for, but it still seems quite large to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is it was knit on size 8 needles, and it's around a 15-inch circumference. It's supposed to be an 18-inch circumference, but it'll fit like a 1-year-old, like a toddler, pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll go in the gift box for someone who's having maybe like a summer baby, so that it'll
Yeah.
fit at like 2.5. Um, hey Pearl. Pearl came to see what was up.
Tickety
So
tackety,
that is
tickety tack.
my that is my finished project. I also though have some spinning. I
Mm.
started spinning this fiber from Hip Strings called Acadia, and I had 2 of these bags. It is 75% merino, 12.5% flax, 12.5% Tessa silk blend, and I'm just spinning it end to end because it's got like these golds and greens and oranges. And Acadia is my favorite national park. So I started spinning that on and I did a terrible job. Ooh, I don't know where the end is. Oh, there it is. I did a terrible job of like making my bobbin even, but I
Hmm.
spun this on the Daedalus Starling, the XL, and I've never spun flex before,
I don't think I have.
so it's an interesting spin. I'm using a short backward draw so that I can go pretty fast because I'm trying to not put a ton of twist in it because I feel like if you add a lot of twist with the flax and the silk, it could get very like crunchy very fast.
Yeah, very like wire like.
But I don't know. I've never spun flax before. So this is the first 4 ounces, and I'm trying to spin it thicker because it's going to be a project for my father. Either it's going to be too much for a hat, so maybe like a scarf, or we'll see how it turns out. Because if it's a worsted weight, I'll get like 400 yards, and that should be a good amount for a scarf for him. Or I could weave with it, depending on how it comes out. So yeah, that's what's currently on the wheel. I haven't plied the 2 bobbins of Hello Yarn yet. It's kind of chilling, waiting. Probably down behind me, directly behind me.
Of
So if
course.
I scooch back at all, I'll run her over. So
And then
that
you'll
is,
feel bad about it and you'll give her cookies.
well, maybe. We've been slowing, like, I have not been giving her, like,
Right.
she got her first treat yesterday? No, Wednesday. Um, So we've been slowly reintroducing, but she goes to the fridge now. Like, I'm gonna open it and chicken's gonna fall out because her chicken and rice is stored in like a giant Tupperware container. And when she would go outside, when she came back in, she would get like a quarter cup of chicken and rice because like she had to have frequent small meals. So now
That's
she assumes when
amazing.
she goes outside, she directly goes to the fridge because chicken comes out of the fridge. It doesn't at my house, but maybe at other people's houses it does. I don't know.
That's amazing.
I'm glad that
It's
I could
like
entertain
Pearl
you.
every time she walks by that one grate where there was a cat.
Yes, yes. She has to go look because
Yeah.
that is the cat portal. She's a smart dog that remembers things from 3 years ago. But can you get her to do? Oh, she found the garage window this week too.
Found
So,
it.
like, she's never been allowed in the garage because that's where Humberto's litter boxes were
Oh,
and
yeah.
where like cat cookies were made. So,
Hmm.
like, there's
Cat
always been a
cookies.
there's always there's always been a gate on like I have a enclosed garage for y'all who don't know. I don't have like a garage door or anything. They enclosed it for a puppy sanctuary because the people who lived here before me fostered dogs. Anyway, and so like I left the gate open. I've been leaving the gate open because Humberto's been gone almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years at the end of February. No, end of January. Um, and so she never goes out there though. But this week she discovered that there was a window because I blocked the other
Oh, that she
window.
can look out of. Okay.
Yes. So there's actually 2 windows that she can look out of, but only one that's like the front window.
Yeah.
And she has moved the little bookcase that was in front of it. She nosed it over so that she can squeeze her whole body in to look out that window. So when I left for work this morning, I'll share a picture with you because apparently this is a podcast about my dog.
I mean, they sort of all are.
So when I left this morning,
Oh, this is so sweet.
and when I come home, it's that same. So she's there waiting on me. She's a hot mess, y'all. She takes after her mama. But yeah, I don't know why that dog story came about, but that is the last Pearl story for today, I think.
Lies. Also, if cat cookies wasn't about poop, it would totally be the title of this episode.
I mean, cat cookies could also be cat vomit, but in this case, it was poop. We're an equal opportunity cleaner upper of things that
Mm,
Humberto would leave around.
yeah.
Anyway, hey, what are you reading?
Well, I finished the Megan Durr series I was reading. I tried a couple of other samples that I had downloaded. Excuse me. Um, on my Kindle. One was too like cutesy. This man can solve all my problems in my life, and then one was too sci-fi-ish. That's the wrong word, but like it was about this um, this ship that humans had sent out into the galaxy and um, it came back 3 years later. No, I don't know. There's some time, like it came back too soon or too late. I can't remember which. And the people on board, there were 8 people, but there were 27 personalities. And I had to try to keep things straight. And I was like, yeah, I need
Mm.
something easier than this right now. So I started rereading the Kate Daniels series because that's
Oh, I
always a
love
good.
Kate Daniels.
Yeah, I'm on the third one now. The one where they're in the midnight games.
Yes, that's one of my favorites, actually.
Um, yeah, so I'm reading those, and we um, we finally got the shades up on the pergola on the back.
Oh, cool.
I need to take pictures this week because it's done, so that I can share them. But the shades have been done for like 2 months. We just haven't put them up. So we did that on Labor Day, and
That's probably
so
good in hindsight that you waited because we had that hurricane come through and,
yeah.
we had some severe weather this
I mean,
summer.
they're pretty secure up there, but it's made a world of difference during the day. Like you can't, it doesn't help the humidity at all, but it helps the direct sun.
Yeah.
And so I take as many breaks as I can reasonably take during the day and sit out there and read for a few minutes. Um, so that's been nice. I've been reading the Kate Daniels series, and I've been listening. I've sort of been alternating what I've been listening to. I'm still listening to Best Friends with Nicole Byer and Sashir Zamata. Um, they sometimes have, I'm only through like 3 months worth, but they sometimes have guests on, and they had LeVar Burton and his wife,
Oh,
whose
that sounds
name I
amazing.
forget now, which is terrible, but I forget her name. But it was a wonderful episode because like they talk to them as a couple, and then they talk to them one at a time, and like the partner goes out of the room and they ask them the same questions
Yeah.
to see how their answers differ or match. And you know, LeVar, you can just tell how much he loves his wife. They've been together for like 40 years or something.
Wow.
And everything, it made me remember I need to go back and listen to his podcast because he does one called LeVar Burton Reads, and
Yes.
it's short stories usually.
Yeah.
And usually they're science fiction in nature, not always, because that's his personal interest. But everything he reads is just, he makes it so wonderful.
So he read the audiobook for the biography of Mr. Rogers, and it was
Oh,
really, really well done.
good.
I'll have to see what other audiobooks he's read, he's narrated.
um I think I just did that wrong. So I've been listening to that. I have been listening to Knit One. Oh, yeah, it is Knit One. Okay. I've been listening to, also to Nicole Byer has one called Why Won't You Date Me? And that she usually, not always, but she usually interviews people as well. And she has some amazing guests that I've been listening to. Um, a couple of the most notable ones have been like Roxane Gay, who wrote like Bad Feminist and Weight. Oh, there's a Weight one. It's not called Heavy. That's it's a gentleman. Oh, I forget what it's. But she's written amazing books
Yeah.
uh, about feminism and being, a black woman in America. And um, her most recent one was about weight. And she interviewed Bob the Drag Queen.
I love
Um,
Bob the Drag Queen.
there's several other ones I haven't listened to where she interviews Aja and
She's really into the drag, like, she's
Monique
in the
Hart.
drag
Yeah.
community because I sent Leslie a video of Trixie Mattel. I've been watching a lot of, like, Trixie makeup videos just to make myself happy. And
It's not to learn tips, it's like for entertainment. It's
yeah, no, there is no way I would spend 2 hours on my makeup,
yeah.
like, and,
I
like,
mean, they look amazing when they're done, but yeah, it
well,
is an
Trixie's
investment of time.
style of makeup is very distinctive too, and it's
Yeah.
not to my taste. when it comes to makeup. But they made Nicole
Nicole,
over, and it was very funny.
yeah, yeah. Again, those podcasts, they're available for you. They're audio podcasts wherever you listen, but they are adult in nature. They are explicit. Um, and I've also been peppering in episodes of My Dad Wrote a Porno, when I need a break as well,
Also
but
adult.
very adult, yeah. Um, Mostly humorous, but still very adult. Uh, and yeah, I think that's mostly. I haven't been listening to any audiobooks this week, really, just podcasts. So, what about you?
I read two. Well, I'm in the process of reading a second one. I read a middle grade novel yesterday, which it's been a while since I don't know, 2020, you would think that I would have gotten all the reading in, and I have not gotten a ton of reading in this year. But I love Sideways Stories from Wayside School. That
Oh,
was one
that's
of
a cool
my
title.
favorite. Yeah, that's one of my favorite books growing up, and it was written 40 years ago,
Wow.
by the way.
I've
And
never read it, but it's a cool title.
oh, so it is about a school that was accidentally built vertical instead of horizontal. So it was supposed to be one floor with 40 classrooms, and instead it's 40 classrooms straight up. And everything's a little like twisted and off.
Hmm.
And like a Wonderland type aspect, kind
Right.
of. But anyway, the original book was written in the 70s, and then he wrote two sequels, and there was also some arithmetic sequels as well. But like every chapter is basically a little short story, and it's got like some Roald Dahl, Matilda type aspects to it too. But it's a nice quick read because every chapter is like its own little entity. And he
Hmm.
just published a new one in the series called Wayside School Beneath the Cloud of Doom, and it's like 170 pages. It's a nice short read. It would be perfect for kids that are into like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I've always recommended the Wayside School books to my Diary of a Wimpy Kid loving kids. It's a good fit. So I read that and I really enjoyed it. I mean, super quick. I read it in under an hour. I took a long lunch and read it at work. So I ate, I read, and I did a book talk on it.
Hmm.
So that was good, work related stuff. And then today at work, I also took a reading lunch because I find that I do better if I can sit and read for like 15 minutes a day at work. And then
Yeah.
while I was waiting for Leslie, I read some more. So this is the complete opposite of that super funny book. This is Things You Can't Say by Jen Bishop. And the main character, Drew, his father committed suicide 2 years prior. And he's still dealing with not only the fact that he feels like his dad was a liar his whole life because his dad hid his depression
Hmm.
and then committed suicide, but also now that his dad's been gone for 2 years, and he was told by his grandmother to be the man of the house.
Hmm.
And so he has a younger brother, a much younger brother. His brother's like 6 now, so was like 4 when his dad committed suicide, and he was 9, I think. So he took over like cooking and cleaning and mowing the lawn, and now this guy's shown up, and it's one of his mom's reconnected with a high school classmate, and he no longer kind of fits into this place where he's put himself as the man of the house. His
Right.
space is being intruded on. And to make matters worse, his mom works at a library. And so, since his dad died, he's had some anxiety, and he's always gone to the library with her, and he's become like the right hand person in the children's area. Well, now there's a girl that's his age named Audrey who's kind of come in and is also infringing on that territory. So
Hmm.
it's him trying to deal with both those things happening at once.
Well,
So it's really good so far. I am 78 pages in. I think it's the first middle grade book that I've read that deals with a parent committing suicide. So long overdue topic. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's other ones out there, but I just haven't read them maybe. Like I've read books where the father has had a stroke, or that's a Jordan Sonnenblick book. But or a family member has cancer or something like that, but never that a parent has committed suicide.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good so far. And Gary Schmidt, who's like one of my favorite authors, who wrote Orbiting Jupiter, which is another great sad book, and Wednesday Wars, and Okay for Now, did the little blurb on the cover, so that kind of got my attention. I was just in the mood for, after reading like Silly Wayside School, something that was more serious in nature. So yeah, so that's a middle grade, and it has a motorcycle on the cover because the new quasi boyfriend rides a motorcycle.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, good so far. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to read it this weekend so I can do. I'm trying to do like 4 recorded book talks a week. Well, every 2 weeks, and then I put up like 4 that are not me, which is
oh,
also
okay.
important, so that they
Yeah.
can see other people that read and
Yeah.
other
People that look like
authors.
them, maybe.
Yeah, people who don't look like me.
Yeah.
Um, so author book talks. I just put up there's a really good interview with Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kennedy talking about Stamped, that they did an interview with Trevor Noah.
Oh, okay.
That I just put, and that's really good as well. Um, but yeah, so that is what I have been reading. The Halloween Craft All the Things starts on the 15th and it goes until the last day of October. So I'm super excited about that. That's always my favorite thing because I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. Um,
It's a very cheater friendly event.
yes, always. Basically, if you can sell it to us
As
that your thing
fall or
is,
Halloween related.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be knitting or crochet or weaving. People put in like carving pumpkins or
Hmm.
roasting pumpkin
Baking
seeds.
cookies. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything kind of goes. And if you are a crafter who would like to donate a prize, just send myself or Leslie an email. I'm Laura at TheKnitGirls with 3Ls.com. And Leslie is Leslie at TheKnitGirls with
I am.
3Ls.com. So yeah, we need to figure out our Patreon events for this week or for this
We,
month as well.
we do. Well, the VKN is easy because
Yeah.
that's always the last Sunday. But yeah, we do need to chat about what we're going to do for Fail Along.
We carved pumpkins one year, didn't we? Was that last year?
Last year, it was the first time I had carved pumpkins in a long time.
Yeah, we'll
So,
have to think of, maybe we'll do a fall fail craft. We did wreaths, like fall wreaths, because mine's still been on my door since we did it.
yes, it is.
Because every season should be Halloween. I'm very popular with my neighbors, by the way. I don't know. We'll have to think of what we want to do this year.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I need to send you a picture, but we replaced our mailbox.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
how am I gonna find your house?
I know that's what that's what Kobe says. How am I going to remember when to get off the bus? Always just look for the ugly mailbox. So,
Oh,
um, so we previously, actually, when we bought the house back in 2005, no, 2008, a month before the market went to the tank.
yeah.
Uh, we when we bought the house in July, it already had a mailbox there because it wasn't a new build. It had already. I think they built it. It was like 20 years old when we bought it, maybe, and it was one of those plastic
The
mailboxes.
Rubbermaid mailbox.
Yeah, basically. Um, and it's kind of hideous. um, which I didn't really care about how my mailbox looks, but it's small. The inside of it is small, and we order so much crap online. And a lot of it goes through USPS for, last, step delivery or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry that, our post person can count on every day having to get out of the damn truck and, coming out and putting stuff on our porch. So we bought a bigger mailbox. We did this when we lived in New Jersey too. We bought a bigger mailbox, like the one of the largest ones that USPS allows. And we got a thank you note from our postman. He was like, "Oh my God, thank you. You saved me so much time." So we got a bigger one here as well. And I need to take a picture because my old mailbox can actually fit inside my new mailbox. It's huge.
I was gonna say because I thought your old one was big compared to mine.
Well, like it's big, but it's like each side of the mailbox, there's like a thick thing of plastic, like 2 inches wide, you know, and this one is huge. Like, I'm trying to think of a comparable something to describe it. Like, both of my cats could fit in there comfortably. Um,
Could Neelix fit in there?
he would be squished pretty tight. But like we got one of those USPS um, flat rate boxes, not the longer, flatter, skinnier ones, but like the
The
ones that are
square. Yeah.
yeah, square, maybe 6 inches tall and maybe 12 inches on each side. So we got one of those, plus a couple of other smaller boxes and mail, and there's still room to spare. Um,
See, I thought so. We were talking about this the other day, and I thought about getting a larger post off like mailbox, and then I went out to my mailbox, and my mailbox is within an inch of my neighbor's mailbox.
yeah, yours
How
like
close they
where
are.
because of the Laura's in a cove and the way that the land is set up there, like her yard is like a pizza slice, like a
Cove
pizza
is
pie.
southern for cul-de-sac.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Um, so like Laura's front yard property line from like the very edge to the other very edge of her
Oh,
property line is
sorry.
probably only like 12 feet, just enough for like your driveway, a couple feet on one side and a couple feet on the other side. Like it's not
Yeah,
super,
maybe 2 feet on the one side, maybe.
yeah. So yeah, I can see that would be difficult to make that work for you, but I just thought
And
it
the
was
other
funny. I
side
need to,
has the water meter, so I can't put anything on the other side. It's not like I could switch where my mailbox is because there's
yeah,
a water meter on the other side.
yeah. But it makes life a little easier for our post person, and
Yeah, that's sweet.
it's I don't know much about postal workers, but I feel like in the last 10 years their job has changed so much with Amazon and
Yeah. With
them
the
having
amount
to
of
do,
online ordering, yeah.
yeah, it's I can only imagine how much harder.
Although I wonder how much different that was than like catalog ordering.
I don't know. It's a lot
No.
easier to click a button on your computer
Yeah.
than to do catalog. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm
No, I mean there's more people in the world than there were 20 years ago. So that's definitely gonna have. I just remember my mom ordering from like LL Bean catalog when we were little and
yeah.
Land's End, and then also ordering like yarn from
Mhm.
catalogs.
All right, I got 3 rows done,
Look
including
at
ink.
you!
I'm so fancy.
I think I got a full stripe done. Boom.
I like the colors.
I think you have this one. It was a recent one.
I think I do. I like
It's a
it.
good one. All right, friend. Well, I will let you and everyone else have a good night because it's like 8:30 and past my bedtime. Leslie's keeping me up, which is why I was yawning.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
It really is. I go to bed at like 9. Does that have to be
Um,
up at 5:30?
yeah, I can't. More power to you.
Oh,
Well, you guys
oh.
have a great weekend, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye,
Bye, all.
y'all.